So there is Bagnaia at the moment, locked and loaded on the front row of the grid. I'm not sure if he might have just been a little bit wide there and exceeding track limits on the exit of one, which means that this will be an aborted lap. He's got Bezzecchi for company. I think having finished Friday down in a lowly and rather uncharacteristic 18th place, anywhere onside those first two rows would be a real bonus, a real result as far as Bez is concerned. And he's using Bagnaia as a perfect reference here. As you can see through split one, Bez on course for the front row, Bez on course potentially for pole position. Just the one front row start so far this year for the Italian on an RSGP. But he's looking in great nick and potentially challenging for his second.
Yeah, he's entering the part of the racetrack now where he's done a lot of his best work so far this weekend. He's owned Sector 3 so far today. Watch out for Bezzecchi too, who's just in the back of the picture. This trio of Italians who are now making their way up into the final sector of the lap. Bagnaia looking to get on terms with his teammate here as he now comes over the crest and drops down towards turn 9. At the moment, he's on target to get ahead of it.
Whole bunch of hot laps coming in here, as we suspected. They skim the inside curve through turn 9. So Bagnaia at the moment in P3. This is going to be really close, isn't it? As far as Bagnaia and Bezzecchi are concerned, in terms of that 128.220. Bezzecchi then does what we said he was using. Bagnaia has the perfect reference about, what, 50, 75 metres ahead of him. And it's Bezzecchi with a 128.060, which finds himself now in P1. Some lap that by Bez. Pretty much 4 tenths quicker than anything he managed in Q1 when he was second behind Bastianini, and threatening Aprilia's first pole position of 2025 here.
And their first pole at the Red Bull Ring too. It's not been a good circuit historically for them. So Bagnaia, who was briefly on provisional pole, now back to third. Marquez, who was on an outlap, now all of a sudden booted off the front row of the grid altogether. Although we feel surely there is still a 127 in this racetrack.
Hasn't a pole position since India in 2023, as Bezzecchi, of course, when he was on top of VR46 Ducati. Bagnaia and Bezzecchi. Bagnaia, well, they follow each other into the runoff area. And Bastianini, look at this. This would be some shock, wouldn't it? Some surprise. We know that Enea is a class, top-notch MotoGP rider, but he's had so many struggles, so many woes getting accustomed from the factory Ducati onto the KTM. This is going to be really, really close. He's halfway through the final sector. He's got one corner left to negotiate. Enea's not even qualified inside the top 10 so far this year on a KTM. He could be on pole position here. Over the line he goes.
Fifth. Up
into fifth. Oh, Marquez has crashed. Marquez has crashed out of the chicane. At the moment, he's been pushed down to 4th place off the front row as it stands right now for just the 3rd time so far in 2025. Surely that's going to cost him the front row.
Yeah, because even if he's got it back up and running, how badly damaged is the bike? It's through the second part, through the left of the chicane, front end tucks as he clipped the curb on the inside, and that is a critical error for Marquez. Does he have a bike that's in fully... Has it got all the pieces left on it for him to do one more lap?
He's pulled off some super saves, some gravity-defying saves down the ears, but there was no way that one was coming back through turn 2B for Marquez. At the moment then, what a session this has been here. What a return from the summer break it has been in MotoGP. Marco Bezzecchi, second in Q1, is on pole position. Alex Marquez second. Pecco Bagnaia is 3rd fastest. Alex Marquez has been strong in the second sector as he challenges for what would be his first pole position of the season. That's where it all went wrong for Marc Marquez. No great damage done in terms of his grip position as he's in 4th place at the moment, which would equal his worst start of the season so far. What about Alex then? Let's just track him through sector 3 now. Oh, this is going to be tight. This is going to be very, very close. He's already on the front row in 2nd place. He's just, what, 100th of a second down on Bezzecchi through sector 3. Ralph Fernandez is another late faller. A real dramatic conclusion to this Q2 session here in Austria. Alex Marquez is not able to knock Bez out of pole position. So many stories, so much drama to talk about here in Austria in Q2. Marco Bezzecchi, having been 18th yesterday, through Q1 in second place, looks like he's on course for his first Aprilia pole position.
And Acosta only 8th for the moment. He turns that into 7th. Marquez is still running, as you saw, but he's a 10.5 down through the first sector. He's not putting Bezzecchi's pole position under an awful lot of threat at the moment. So it's Bezzecchi, Alex Marquez and Bagnaia at the front row. Bagnaia, as we saw, went off on his last lap at turn 4, which is where we now find Marquez. A slightly battered and bruised Ducati. You can see all the damage on the left-hand side of it. It might have been the most dignified lap he's ever done, but he needs this one. He's off the front row as it stands.
Pedro Acosta has just set the fastest first sector. Fermin Aldeguer, the rookie's having a top session, on course for his best qualifying since the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. He's at the back of the second row right now in 6th place. Here comes Acosta though. Are there late fireworks coming? He's going to get an absolute hero's reception, isn't he, Acosta? He sticks to KTM on pole. Look at this, he's absolutely pulverised sector 2. Pedro Acosta. Well, the roof on the main grandstand here in Spielberg is about to get lifted off, because in front of their home crowd in Red Bull's home race, in KTM's home Grand Prix, Pedro Acosta well on course here for pole position. Let's check him now through the 3rd sector. Lost a bit of time in split 3. Marco Bezzecchi's 128.060 has got the... He almost was down there. How did Acosta stay on board that KTM? Surely that's going to cost him pole position. The front was tucking for miles, wasn't it, on the RC16. It cost him 0.2 of a second. He'll be regretting that late move, but he was all in. He was full commitment, full attack, wasn't he? Pedro Acosta, he was spectacular to watch. It was a spectacular and dramatic Q2 session, one of the best of the season so far. And at the end of it, Marco Bezzecchi,
from Q1,
out of Q1, has taken pole position for the first time on the factory Aprilia. They can't believe it. Delirious scenes inside the Nawali garage. Just the 5th pole position of Marco Bezzecchi's career. He's first since India in 2023. Your front row is Alex Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia.